Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and salutations to you. As always, I hope you're fantastic. My name is Kluger, and here today I bring you the first build update, I suppose, for, let's call it Nidalla's Witch Hunter, because of the poison damage. Yes, indeed. This is a Grim Dawn video, so a little preface here just to say sorry for the subscribers here who are after Grim Dawn content. I know it's been a fair while. My sincerest of apologies for this problemo. This is evidence. I have been working, I've been doing stuff, I just didn't have anything ready to show you guys, but now I do. And that's really, really cool and awesome. So yeah, level 50, again, premise 2, whatever. This is not a complete build guide, this is just an update, just to say, hey look, here's a thing, here's an idea I'm working on, get your feedback, get your thoughts, throw some ideas around, and just maybe plant ideas for you guys too, for something for you fine viewers to work on. So, as you can see, a dual-wielding build, primarily focusing on poison damage, a combination of the Nightblade and Occultist masteries, and this was a build I had going quite a while back, actually, like many builds ago, and I've just recently resurrected it. I know I've recently done a similar damage type. I've done a poison build not too long ago that we talked about, a Dreeg's Evil Eye build, and this is also poison damage, but plays significantly differently, of course, but I'm having more fun playing it this way, and it in some ways can be more devastating, even though it's kind of squishy because we have to be in melee range. Let's talk about it, I suppose. So, Occultist, we'll just check it off now. Unfortunately, I don't have it maxed yet, but the main goal here, besides getting Blood of Dreeg and Aspect of the Guardian, is to hit up Possession. Damage Absorption will be really nice, and all the damage boosts that it's going to give us, and the Chaos Resistance will be really nice, because I'm struggling with that at the moment, I tell you what. I'm also considering maybe down the track Slayer's Witchfire for its attack speed bonus, and maybe the incidental chaos damage will be nice. Not necessarily sold on that, but we'll see. We'll see. It might be good to mix up a secondary damage source in there later down the track. As for Nightblade, it's much busier. Now, like I said, this is a slightly older build, and I've possibly gone further up the tree than I want to. It may have been better just to stop at 32. But, you know, c'est la vie. Otherwise, I am still considering going up to Execution just because it's a freaking brutal attack. 200% damage of each hand is it's pretty nasty. So, it may be worth just going up there, spreading points a little thinner in other areas in order to get Execution. So, that remains to be seen. As you can see, a variety of investment through the dual wielding, the dual blades tree. 1 point just in dual blades for now. 7 points with Nidalla's Hidden Hand. That's of course a key piece of the puzzle because it modifies these skills to add poison and acid damage to them, which is really cool. I've kind of arbitrarily divvied these up for now based on their percent chance to trigger, so 15% chance there, 15% chance there, and just 8% chance there for now. I'm just messing around with Whirling Death. I'm not sure if I like it because of its reduced main and offhand damage sources, but because it only does 35% of each, or 30% of each at this rank, but the amount of targets it hits might make it worth it, I'm not sure. Another key piece of the puzzle here is I'm using Amarasta's Blade Burst. Only 1 point in the main skill, as it were, but so far 6 out of points into Lethal Assault. Because it lasts for 4 seconds, and it triggers, at this rank, 40% acid damage and 40% poison damage, as well as 58 extra offensive ability, which is nothing to sneer at. It's also really good for triggering active devotions, for lack of a better term. Yeah, it does pretty nasty stuff. So I've just got it on the default left click attack, and every time it comes off cooldown it just fires again, and it's almost a constant stream of what's the cooldown on it? Yeah, it's a constant stream really of that poison and acid damage boost, as well as the offensive ability boost. So well considering putting more points into that, possibly maxing Lethal Assault there. So that's one of the main ideas I've been messing with this build. 1 point in Ring of Steel and Ring of Frost, which I find to be pretty standard with most Nightblade builds because of just the immobility and crowd control. Really just 1 point in Shadow Strike, which is being plussed by something. I'm not quite sure what, to be honest. And so far, 8 points in Nidalla's Justifiable Ends. Now, this skill is nasty for a poison build. Like, look at that. At rank 8 out of 12, it's got 6.4k poison damage, plus 140% poison damage, and 35% crit damage. It's pretty brutal. It's a massive poison nuke. If we compare that, I can't remember what Dreeg's Evil Eye goes up to. I'm sure it'll go up towards sort of similar realms, and it's got like its whole sharding thing going on, but Like, that's massive damage nuke. It's ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure it can target multiple enemies, or am I tripping? Blah, 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 blah. I feel like it can. I don't know why. I could just be making that up. But anyway, it does good stuff. Pneumatic Burst, again, fairly standard for Nightblade build. 7 out of points so far. Probably will max the main Pneumatic Burst skill. Shadow Dance and Elemental Awakening kind of as needed due to squishiness. Shadow Dance probably more important in this build, I'd say. And using Breath of Belgothian because we can, because we're dual wielding. Leveraging Veil of Shadow, predominantly for now for Night's Chill, for the minus poison and acid resistance. Might put more points in Veil of Shadow because it will help us be less squishy, basically, because it reduces the offensive ability and total speed of our enemies. It was either going to be that or, of course, Curse or Frailty / Vulnerability from Occultist, but, like, on paper, Vulnerability would do a little more debuff, but the, I guess, inactivity, because it's completely passive, Night's Chill is just one less thing to think about and is always on, rather than always remembering to recast Curse of Frailty. So that's why I've gone with that as my preference. So far, 1 point into Phantasmal Armor and 1 point into Anatomy of Murder, just as kind of earmarks for now. Maybe put more points into each of those as things track along, but of course, from the bottom here, Merciless Repertoire being the most key choice, just due to the passive crazy boost of Deliciousness, and that's boosted a whole lot. And we'll get to gear in a sec, because I've only got, I think, 2 points or 3 points in that right now. I can't quite remember, like, without bonuses. So, okay, moving on to Devotion. So this has been fun. So far, at the moment, I've got points in, like, many of the crossroads here, and that's because I'm doing, like, a real wide spread of choices. So bear with me on that. I'll probably be able to refine it once I've got some more, like, particularly the Behemoth constellation complete. I can start to take out some points. But so far, as you can see, all but the purple crossroads, which is Ascendant. I always get them mixed up. Yeah, and anyway, but look, without further ado, I've got Acheron's Scorpion maxed out, and I've got Scorpion Sting currently bound to Shadow Strike, which is a nice extra splash of poison damage, which is pretty cool. Main hand damage is offered as well, and reduced target's defensive ability, which is pretty nice. Maxed on Jackal as well, mostly getting for the Chaos Affinity that it's going to give us to help us get further down in this direction. Particularly Manticore, which I've got also maxed. Wait, no, do I have it maxed? Oh my god, I haven't actually done this bit thing. I should probably do that. It gives us good things. But I've only got it for Acid Spray, because that's really brutal, does reduce some nice debuffs, some nice damage as well, and I've got that tied to Amarasta's Blade Burst, so that's really, really nice for poison builds. I really need to finish that. And while we're down in this corner, I've started Giant's Blood and currently got that bound to Veil of Shadow. I'm probably going to max this because this is quite a squishy build, so the more health we can get, the better. But particularly the Giant's Blood skill's really, really nice. So that's a nice, like, passive buff that's always going to help us from not dying, basically. I know words. Great job. I've also got Tortoise for right now. It gives us some nice defensive buffs. Again, quite necessary for this build. Also gives us some Primordial, which helps us get Giant's Blood and Behemoth constellation. As to where I'm heading from here, probably I'm tempted to just gun it for Abomination to get the Abomination's right arm, or our left, as we look at it, because that nuke is just... like, putting that on Shadow Strike or something like that could just be so brutal. Either that, or I'm going to try play it smart and get some more defensive things, like pick out some defensive nodes from various constellations, like, for example, Eel. What else? Viper, I think, has got some decent defensive stuff, or am I tripping? Or maybe even some, like, Life Leech, for example, which you can get from, like, Revenant. There's some options there, so I don't know which way I'm going to go there. I'm tempted to just go all-out offense and just see how nasty we can make the build, but... that remains to be seen. Your feedback, of course, is most welcome there. But that's all I've got for right now. We'll briefly go through skills. Oh my god, skills. Where brain go? Gear. Gear is pretty... it's not perfect right now, but because we're level 50, we can wield Legendary, so we can at least talk about those. Because I've got 2 Venom Lashes, and these little things are so brutal. They're so nasty. You can see the stats here. I mean, crazy amounts of poison and acid damage. Conversion to acid damage. Attack speed is off the charts. And +3 to Merciless Repertoire on each. And +2 to Blood of Drig on each, which is really, really cool. And the Venom Lash skill, 10% chance to be used to do a whole bunch of nasty stuff, a stack of poison and acid damage, main hand damage, extra acid damage. It's crazy sauce. As well as Mark of Dreeg on each. I don't know. I could well stick with 2 Venom Lashes for the entirety of this build. They're so freaking nice. But there may be a better one somewhere if we can do like 1 Venom Lash and 1 of something else, which I haven't decided and or found yet. I don't really know. So yeah, that's going really well. And then I've got Venom Spine Greaves, which is, you know, to be expected. Also, again, poison and acid damage and a whole bunch of other really good things. Everything else is fairly meh because we're only quote-unquote level 50 and I haven't really got better things for certain slots for right now. Mask of Delirium's kind of nice for the madness skill that it offers. Hughes Carapace armor at least aligns with the build, so that's nice to have along for the ride. Devil Spaulders I've just got because decent defenses, which was getting... like, this build's pretty squishy, so it's pretty nice. And I've got Plague Mancer's Amulet as well, which is another thing that's, you know, kind of nice for the build, but again, nowhere near perfect. So a lot of work still required on the gear, but even in this state, don't let that DPS mislead you, because that's Amarasta's Blade Burst. If we put it to default weapon attack, it shows 2.7k. But really the beauty is in all the debuff that this build does, while, you know, doing several different sources of poison and acid damage. In fact, let's go have a look. Where our modifiers at 638% acid damage and poison damage, modifier 717% with nearly 300% duration. So, and not to mention, you know, in addition to like the Venom Lash skills that we got triggering, all the poison damage from Shadow Strike, as well as from Scorpion and from Manticore constellations. We've got so many different sources of poison damage that are all being affected by that buff. So, as you can see, you just kind of tear through the place and do lots of poison damage. Oh, and the boots. Venom Spine Greaves also have a trigger, right? Venom Spines, yeah. So, as you can plainly see, I'm kind of demoing the playstyle here really quickly. It's nothing all that complex. You just Shadow Strike in, hit things with poison damage, and this is the kind of build, partly out of necessity and partly because you can, where you just kind of blink in with Shadow Strike, and you can leave and just let things die because the amount of stacked poison damage and acid damage just makes things so that you can kind of just chill. Observe. Things are dying. Come on, just die. Cool. So yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. I mean, it's still progressing. There's still work to be done, particularly on the defensive end. Even though we've got 2 healing spells, things can still get kind of hairy from time to time, especially in these situations. And part of that is like not great resistances right now, again, due to not very great gear. But we're working on that, like particularly around here. I don't think I have any chaos resistance right now, so I'm going to have to sort that out, especially if I'm going to go and try Kill Log Horroring, which as you can see, I'm quite close to doing. I've got the Eastern Bloodwagon left, classic. So yeah, the 2 heal spells, that's kind of an interesting idea, but it's kind of needed, I feel. Blood of Dreeg is kind of offensive in nature because it gives a whole bunch, I think it does like offensive ability, extra acid damage, I think. Anyway, it's kind of offensive, but also boosts up defenses and heals, as well as, of course, well, really they both have offensive qualities, but I find like kind of flip-flopping between the both, as one's kind of coming off cooldown, you trigger the other, and just trying to keep them both persistent. I mean, why would you not? Because they both heal pretty decently, but have a lot of good buffs to offer. So having them both running is pretty dang tasty, I have to say. So that's really the playstyle. You just blink in, whack a few other things, you trigger your health, you trigger... Oh my god, my brain is fat. It's really hot in Melbourne right now, so I'm having a hard time with the focus and concentration and the Glaven. You trigger this skill and this skill, Pneumatic Burst of Blood of Dreeg as you go. And then you throw in the old Ring of Steel when you're needing to control the crowd. And then just duck in and out because you could get pretty brutalized if you don't pay attention. And using the map to your advantage is like kind of a wise choice. Like, you know, trying to thin a herd by, say, going around a corner and, like, whacking them, like, here as they come around. Yeah, those sorts of things, just to try and not take on a whole group at once. Or if you manage to blink into a large group and then leave before anything bad happens and let a few of them die just by their own volition, that is another decent way to go as well. But I think this build's only going to get better. it was really struggling like through the 30s and 40s. It was kind of getting squish and just mushed, and basically didn't have enough firepower, if I can use the phrase, poison power, you know what I'm getting at, to, compensate for the lack of defense, but the scales are tipping. So yeah, that's really all there is to it, and I think this build shows a lot of promise. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes later down the track, and once we stack a few other really funky pieces of gear, this could go places, because it's now killing really, I think, quite quickly, especially given the amount of crowd control that's on tap as well. So that is really, really cool. Okay, so I'm just going to scoot down to here. And we'll probably call that. I'll try to keep this on the shorter side, seeing as it's just meant to be an update video. But yeah, there we go. Look, I'm playing Grim Dawn. Also, side note, I've got other builds happening at the moment as well. They're all just sort of works in progress, so I hope to bring them to you soon. But yeah, as for this build, your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas, all welcome. I'm happy to have a good old chat about how this build could progress. If you've done a similar build yourself, let me know. I'd love to hear it. But I'll be sure to try and update you for the other key events, maybe in like 10 levels or so as we get through some of Elite. I'll be sure to have a chat to you and update you on progress. But that's me for now, ladies and gents. Remember to leave likes, comments below. I hope to see you again very, very soon. My name's Kluger, and you have a great day.